Okay. So we have Anjali ji with us. Anjali ji, are you there? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So can you brief about a little bit about yourself, the introduction? Will that be okay?
Yes. So my name is Anjali. I'm an assistant professor of psychology and also a freelance counseling psychologist. We have this startup of ours where we do freelance therapy, and along with that, we have an internship going on where we are providing psychology students, final year students, master students, internships, and training them, supervising those kids to have an on-hand experience because most of the internships do not provide that.
Right. So there seems to be a lot of initiatives that you are actually involved in, especially, teaching at the same time, dealing with the students in the same, in the same environment, but at the same time offering counseling services to the clients. And as you mentioned that you have already provided a lot of sessions through the students in supervision and personally as well. So I just wanted to know that because you are in academics as well, that how do you generally navigate mental health challenges that you feel the students face or the faculty members face? And what is the setup? Does it support mental health? Any particular experience that you'd like to share?
So basically, what happens is that in India, in today, yet many universities do not have counselors. So
Hmm.
most of the time, what happens, teachers are the first primary caregivers at
Hmm.
colleges mostly. So
Hmm.
students come to us with their problems. I remember sitting hours with my students, dealing
Hmm.
with their problems. It can be academic, it can be personal.
Hmm.
But have realized is that we also have our time bounds, and there are certain boundaries that uh, our seniors tell us not to cross with students, like do not get personal. So that is something that it needs to be regular in every college. That is what I feel. But I don't think that all universities or colleges do that, or maybe
Right.
want to do that.
I think they have started doing it more often now. I do understand that MS University has been doing it for a very long time. But
Hmm.
जैसे आपका जो experience है, I think some of the universities are actually prioritizing this. And I think it is very important to have a mental health setup within the university because then it becomes very difficult for the students to navigate. Again, what Akash ji also had shared earlier. Yeah.
Yes, it's like even if there are counselors in the university, students are not very comfortable going to them because they
Hmm.
are like, "Oh, secrets would be out to the
Hmm.
teachers. It will be in the open, and what if it harms our academics?" So
Hmm.
these are the things that we have noticed.
Does it get tricky to actually, if a student sometimes comes for counseling, but then you have to actually take the assignment for the student? Does it get tricky in that way?
Uh, the first time I thought it would be tricky, but honestly, the boundaries are very clear. My students are my clients, and they know that the confidentiality is going to be maintained, and it's very cool. Like because the rapport actually, that there were students who were very reluctant. They're like, "We do therapy, we want to come to you, but we do not know if it would be okay, and it would misbalance our teacher, like professor student relationship." But it did not. Like it actually got better. They got more comfortable. And
Hmm.
it's good.
Yeah, I think the way you are sharing it, I think you are doing it very easily and very beautifully. But what I feel is that sometimes it is challenging to be strict, or at least make sure that you are able to oblige the role of an academician, but at the same time provide support in a different context to the same student. So that becomes a little tricky at times.
So that's where other faculty members come into play. That I can be the good cop and they'll be the
Acha.
bad cop there.
Okay, so it's a teamwork kind of a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask that it, does management have any kind of viewpoints when children are students are going through a difficult time mental health wise? Do they prioritize these things, or what is their view in terms of your personal opinion?
So many a times, like most of the times, they're not aware of it. Like
Hmm.
things that do not reach them because things uh, come and they're like, okay, the first thing they put on the table is we do not like them to know. There have
Hmm.
been cases of abuse in the college itself, and students
Hmm.
were like, we not want to know. And that's where management does not know most of the things. And even if things reach them, There are plenty of things your teachers, your professors, it is your responsibility to manage them. So do it, it's your job. That's what happens.
Hmm. So it is again, I think it is individualized. I think in the last discussion it was coming to the same point that it is your thing, you deal with it. But they do have, I think in some of the universities they do have support for medical checkups, and so that kind of support is provided. But for mental health, I think it is not very much looked into. That is the feeling that I am getting so far. Yeah.
That is what I've noticed that for physical health, yes, there are health centers, but yet we are not that aware. Like especially, we come from a very small town. Like in second tier cities, third tier cities, it is not that very common to prioritize mental. Like most of the students who are even coming for help are from the psychology background because
Hmm.
okay, something can be done about it. Other people are like, okay, fine, we are dealing with it. We'll deal with it.
Right. Okay. Achha, I wanted to ask probably things which slightly sensitive, they are sensitive in matter. But what about the other colleagues? What about the other professors or how do they navigate this? Coming to a colleague for help, is that okay? Is it acceptable?
Honestly, it is very easier for the student to come to a professor for help. It is
Hmm.
not very faculty members are not okay coming out to a colleague and sharing their problems. Okay, help me out with this, and especially when they are sharing problems with the city around staff room, it is very friendly environment. People share their problems, and when you're trying to even tell them, okay, maybe you can do this, they're
Hmm.
like, okay, don't be a psychologist, be a friend, be a consideration.
So I think that again is very challenging to actually separate the role of assistant professor and being a colleague as opposed to being, a counselor. So all these three roles kind of get merged when probably a different department is not realized that we need to have different counselors as well.
Of course.
Okay. Okay. So would you like to share a little bit about your initiative? I know that you are also doing a lot of wonderful things, but would you like to share briefly about the initiative that you are associated with presently?
So it is we two people, me and Mr. Meet. So we have created this startup as soon as we completed our post graduation, and it is the initiative where we are trying to make therapy accessible to people who cannot really afford it. So right now also we have clients like who are as low as 100 rupees because they cannot afford it, and that is why, because that it is very important for them to, like, I understand that as a mental health professional we should not like set a bar and not lower that bar. You should have certain boundaries, should not pick up calls after certain period of time, but what we here do is that we are available as much as we can and as much as we want to be. So that is what we are doing. Hello.
Sorry. So one of the challenges also what was observed in National Mental Health Survey 2016, which was conducted by NIMHANS, they actually also highlighted that accessibility is a huge challenge for the country. And probably if the counselors can afford to, and they can still maintain their personal boundaries and be there for the client, I think that makes it really easier for the client to actually, access the therapist or the professional when it is required.
Exactly. It is accessible only because we have another job. Like honestly, if I were doing this work, it wouldn't have been like easy for me to like make therapy affordable. So,
Hmm.
yeah, that is one of the point. But
Yeah,
this is what
this is what Maslow, I think, yeah.
matters. Like when we say mental health matters, then that is what we are trying to say. That like the first thing when the clients come and ask, okay, what are your charges? We tell them a range, and when then we ask them, okay, what can you afford? End
Hmm.
of year, and we will
Hmm.
try to match your rates. That is
Hmm.
what we do.
Okay. Just one last tricky question. I just wanted to understand, have you ever observed or probably seen that some of the clients just want to pay less because they want to actually, uh, is it sometimes also that they are not able to associate any kind of value to the services, and that's why they are paying? How do you balance those things out?
Yes. So it is like we when I say that, okay, tell us what you can afford. This is not a question that we answer on text. This is in the
Hmm.
first, like most of the sessions after the first session are paid, but the first session is post paid. So at that moment we're like, okay, tell us what is going on in your life. What do you do? What you can really afford? And then we try to judge, okay, this person can really not afford it, and that's why
Hmm.
we reduce the charge for them. But for other people, we are okay. I don't think that we need to reduce the charges that low.
Right.
That's how it works. Like it is a balance. Many a times, yes, I understand because I have worked in the MSU counseling center, which was a great experience. But the free therapy thing does not work. That's what I felt there, because the to feel that they are giving something back, that they
Hmm.
feel
I
so.
think it is also not justified. I might say probably a little bit of a bold statement, but I feel that it's not justified for the mental health professionals if they are paying around 100 rupees or 200 rupees, and then they actually order from Swiggy and they are paying 350 for that. So I think we sometimes probably creating a sense of value is also important for them, and we can still probably look into reducing the charges, understanding that they value the services but they are not able to actually afford it, right?
It is like the balance. If I
Yeah.
have 100 rupees paying you 100,
Huh.
then I value it. If I have a lakh and I'm paying you 10,000, does not matter.
Yeah, that really
That's
makes
the
yeah.
come.
Okay. So one last thing I wanted to is there any suggestion that you would like to give to a person who is going through a difficult time in their workplace?
Uh, so what I really believe is that your healing comes from your where your faith is. So try to
Hmm.
find the anchor, to find somebody who faith. And
Voice
if
is
you
sorry breaking. Can you repeat it? Your voice is breaking. I don't know that.
okay, what I believe in is that your healing lies from where your faith is.
Hmm.
So try to find someone you have faith in. And if you are really in need, then go out and take therapy. Like take the professional help that you need. Because something that is bothering you a little bit right now can turn into something that you won't be able to handle later.
Right. So probably looking on it on a probably little bit initial level really helps to set things right rather than actually looking at it as a last resort. And we do sometimes, not just probably with the mental health aspects, even I think these days physical aspects are being uh, sidecasted, or probably they are approached as a last resort. कि हाँ अभी जाएंगे. So, and this really impacts the mental health indirectly at the same time. It's when it's spinning, I think the frustration, the irritation, restlessness also increases. So, prioritizing yourself in general might be really helpful.
Hmm.
Okay, Anjali ji, it was really nice interacting with you. So, we'll be inviting the next panelist now. I've just, but I think he's your colleague. So, I'm inviting Meet Kapoor ji for the session as well. So I hope he's able to join now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Meet, how are you?
Hello, how are you, Mansoor sir?
I'm doing.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are perfect. ठीक है. So, Miji, would you like to introduce yourself briefly?
First, I'd like to introduce you. You are a great friend and a great host today. इतना ही मुझे पता.
Thank you.
So, hello guys, I'm Meet Kapoor. Currently, I'm working with Podar International School as their wellness teacher, special educator, and I'm doing freelance. Like Anjali was a co-founder of the company which we founded together. So I am also working in HearToHeal, which is our initiative, and we give therapies and stuff. Yes, that would be it.
Okay, Chicken, thank you. So, we also interacted with Akash. He is also working in a school setup. But I really wanted to know your experience that because you are working on a very different level and a very different school. He's working in Ahmedabad, you are working in Baroda. But would you like to share that how mental health is perceived in a school setup, or what are the challenges the students face, or what you have personally come across, and how do you navigate them? or the students, how do they navigate it? So yeah.
We have this saying in like psychology: the student should not be counseled; it's the parents who should be counseled. Because like bichare bachche, I will speak also in Hindi because our audience is from very different spectrum as well. तो क्या होता है मंसूर सर कि वो तो बच्चे ही है, अब आप उनको कितना समझा लोगे लॉजिक में. तो फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे पास एक केस था कि सर ये मोबाइल नहीं छोड़ता, he doesn't leave mobile whenever he eats, वो उसको मोबाइल चाहिए. So I just asked him one question: how many hours do you use your mobile phone? So he is like नहीं, वो मैं नहीं बता सकता. Exactly. So the kids are the same thing कि वो आपके बोलने से नहीं पढ़ेंगे, वो आपको देख के सीखे. For me to make them understand, it is not our kids' fault. It is somewhere our fault. The society's fault because they are kids. Then it comes to जैसे हम लोग teachers की बात करें, they are also facing many difficulties. For example, I won't name the organization where I was previously working. So the salaries would be coming in 2 months, 3 months. So they used to come to me, sir क्या करें? मैं बोला देखो, मैं बात कर सकता हूँ, मैं सैलरी नहीं दे सकता. Right? So I have worked with different organizations, but yes, it's been challenging because to understand it, you have to be their friend. So I'm 26, they are 6. You have to go to their level to understand what they really need from me, rather than what I have to tell them.
Right. So I think taking accountability from the parents at times is also very important, and probably that it doesn't matter what the parents or everybody else around them say, they kind of would end up following what the parents are doing, and that is much better a guide for them, the students or the children. That if my father is actually using phone in the free time, then it becomes easier to actually follow that same kind of behavior. So, right.
Because we seek validation na, as kids. Even today I will seek validation from my parents. कि पापा सही कर रहा हूँ, मम्मी को पूछूंगा शर्ट बढ़िया पहनी है कि नहीं. I know he is going to say yes, but still
Right.
human aspect.
कोई आपको ऐसा लगता है कि बस जस्ट फ्रैंक क्वेश्चन, आपको ऐसा लगता है कि मैनेजमेंट बेसिकली ये चीज़ों को रिकग्नाइज करती है? एंड मुझे लगता है कि आप जो स्कूल में काम कर रहे हो, इट इज़ वेरी वेल अवेयर एंड बहुत सपोर्टिव एनवायरनमेंट है आपके स्कूल में, बट फिर भी ऐसा कुछ है जो आप चाहते हो कि थोड़ा साइड में अगर एक और इनिशिएटिव या फिर एक और चीज़ हो जाता तो प्रोसेस बच्चे के लिए काफ़ी स्मूथ हो जाता?
Sometimes what happens, मंसूर सर, कि मैनेजमेंट को कुछ चीजें पता ही नहीं लगती, वो वहां तक पहुंचती ही नहीं है. तो जैसे मैं डरूंगा यार, अगर मैंने ये चीज निकाल दी तो मेरा मैनेजमेंट मुझ पे डाल देगा काम, राइट? या तो मैंने इसको बोल दिया तो ये बोलेगा सर आपने बोला तो है, बट मैं क्यों करूं? बिकॉज वी आर अफ्रेड ऑफ डूइंग एक्स्ट्रा वर्क. तो व्हाट आई वुड लाइक टू से कि अगर मैनेजमेंट के पास कोई काम आता भी है तो फिर वो हायरार्की ही फॉलो करे. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ अ सुपरवाइजर हैज टू डू अ सुपरवाइजर्स वर्क, डोंट पुट इट ऑन अ someone who's ready for like mental health specialist. हमें, yes, I know English. That doesn't mean I will teach English. That's not my job program. यहाँ पे बहुत दिक्कत आती है कभी कभी. और बाकी बच्चों के तो I would like them to introduce more extracurricular activities. बंद जाते हैं. That would be one suggestion.
Achha. Just asking a very subjective question. How do you feel a part of the entire school management team या फिर जो बाकी faculties है? Because what I have seen sometimes, some counselors don't really feel a part of the core group, या फिर they are not actually, they just feel that कि हाँ इनको हमें रखना पड़ा क्योंकि शायद नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी ने बोला है या फिर CBSE का करिकुलम ऐसा है. बट क्या आपका वो इंटीग्रेशन है? आपको ऐसा लगता है आपके स्कूल के साथ?
Thankfully, in current institution where I am working was कि उन्होंने तो 8 साल से रखा हुआ है. So जब NEP exist नहीं भी करती थी, so they were like for getting counselors, and we don't even say the word counselor. It is a special educator or wellness teacher for us, because क्या होता है काउंसलिंग, फॉर एग्जांपल आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल कि बच्चों को जो पेरेंट्स होते हैं उनको बोला ना कि आपके बच्चे की काउंसलिंग करनी पड़ेगी, तो अगेन द टैबू ऑफ साइकोलॉजी कम्स इन. अच्छा मेरा बच्चा पागल है, क्या कर दिया उसने, राइट? तो वो इतना भी ध्यान रखते हैं कि वो काउंसलिंग वर्ड यूज ना करें. You are a wellness teacher, you are the well-being teacher of students. So I am like, Podar is actually doing great, because I'll tell you one more initiative what Podar does. Every 2 week or 3 week, they are organizing a little activity for their teachers, which is conducted by me.
Right.
तो वो बॉन्डिंग भी बनी रहती है. जो आपने बोला ना कोर पार्ट, वो कैसे होता है? आई वॉज नॉट द कोर पार्ट फॉर द फर्स्ट फ्यू मंथ्स, बट जैसे वो कनेक्ट सर्कल करके चीज है, व्हेन वी डू दैट वी बॉन्ड टुगेदर.
Right.
क्योंकि मजा आता है, वी डांस, वी लाफ, वी डू आर्ट एंड स्टफ, व्हाटएवर इट इज. बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज वो इनिशिएट करवाते हैं.
Right. And I think when you added value to the entire thing, and मुझे लगता है कि जब आप वो एक्टिविटीज करते भी हो तो शायद उनका भी थोड़ा सा जो environment है वो
बिल्कुल.
for you to be a more part of it.
वन मोर थिंग इज कि जब तक आप अपनी वैल्यू प्रूफ नहीं करोगे किसी भी जगह, people are not going to value you. It's not about mental health professional, any professional. If you are giving worth to them or your time is worthy for them, then only then they'll respect you. That's what I believe.
Right, absolutely. अच्छा, मुझे है ना आपसे थोड़ा सा ये भी ये शेयर करना था. मान लेते अगर कोई व्यक्ति है अभी जो who is going through a difficult time in their workplace, is there a particular suggestion that you would like to give them?
I would say जैसे तिलोत्तमा जी ने भी बात किया कि to say no. Their boundaries, वो बहुत मुश्किल हो. अभी WHO ने एक फैक्ट निकाला कि out of 100 there are only 13 people who are ready to share their mental health with any other person. अब सोचो अगर 10 में से गिना जाए तो 1.5. That is not a good. तो 9 लोग तो पिस रहे. क्यों पिस रहे? क्योंकि वो किसी को बोल नहीं रहे. क्या नहीं बोल रहे कि सर हमें ओवर टाइम नहीं करना, हमें नहीं रहना 8 बजे तक, राइट? सेकेंड, take stand for yourself. Third would be with your work you should like prioritize your own health. I'm not only saying mental but physical health as well. मैं इसको कैसे समझाऊं कि for example if you play a sport then sports is a part of your life, but work में क्या हो जाता है मंसूर जी कि work is our life, बाकी सब उसके पार्ट. मतलब अभी मैं आपको पूछूंगा ना अच्छा आप क्या करते हैं, तो यू द फर्स्ट सेंटेंस वुड बी हाँ मैं क्लिनिकल साइकोलॉजिस्ट. तो हम लोगों ने अपनी आइडेंटिटी क्या कर दिया कि हाँ मैं सिर्फ काम करता हूँ, और मेरी वर्थ सोसाइटी में तभी होगी जब मैं काम करता हूँ और दिखूंगा. कर रहा हूँ नहीं कर रहा हूँ डिफरेंट मैटर. आपकी आइडेंटिटी आप जो काम करते हो उससे नहीं, बट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ पर्सन यू आर, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ इमोशंस यू फील, that is the thing.
Yeah, I think a balanced understanding of yourself really helps in creating better boundaries. I think it's a very valuable suggestion, and I really hope that people will be able to better integrate this suggestion in their lives. But I personally find it very valuable. Okay, Miji, I think we will keep it till here, and I would like to invite other panelists. But thank you for taking out the time for this, and I really hope that we'll be able to have more interactions.
Sure. Thank you for being a great host again. So, bye bye.
Okay.